All right, welcome to the February Watch of the Month Club, where this month we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 digital watches that you can find for under $200. For a little while, I'm joined by my cat, Rocky, who you guys haven't seen for a while, but he's going to be causing some trouble in here, and we'll see how this goes. All right, Rocky, you going to help us out here? Oh, good. This month's category being digital watches, really the whole list could be covered with Casios, and probably you could make the entire list out of nothing but G-Shocks. And we've got a couple of G-Shocks on the list, as you might be able to kind of see a preview of right here. But we're going to try and keep it limited. Really what I like to do on these lists is examine as many different brands as I can and try and help you guys see what's out there. So there's probably going to be some notable absences here, but I can only pick 10 watches and there's only so many out there. So let's get into it. So bronze tier watch has to be $60 or less, and the bronze tier watch for this month is going to be none other than the G-Shock DW-5600. You can pick this watch up for $45 on Amazon, and honestly, if your budget is $60 or less and you're looking for a digital watch, I don't think you can do better than this. This is definitely the one that I would choose in that price range. And I was this close to buying it until this guy came up on my Amazon shopping over here in Japan. So I decided to pick this one up instead, which we'll get to in just a second. But the DW-5600 is a legendary watch from Casio. It's G-Shock, so it's practically indestructible. It's NASA flight certified, so if you needed to go fly into space on a quick notice, this is the watch you could grab and go. And the cool thing about the DW-5600 is that it's, that kind of platform, that shape. I really like the square shape of it. I think that that's just the coolest looking one. It's simple, it's classic. It's not trying to be too much. It's not overly huge. I think that's just a great shape. But that platform, as it were, for the G-Shocks has an entire range of them. So if you want to pay a little bit more money, you can get the same watch with solar power, with multiband 6, so it syncs automatically with atomic time. A lot of extra features that you can pack into the same form factor, and that goes true with a lot of the G-Shocks. There's so many features out there on the G-Shock watches that we're not going to be able to even touch today. But if you're looking at the DW-5600, this is your basic, classic, cheap G-Shock, and I think it's an awesome watch. It's one that I'm definitely going to get my hands on eventually. But you can spend a little bit more money and get a lot more features added to it. So there's that. All right, so let's move on to the silver selection for the month. And this is the watch that I'm wearing right now, and this is the G-Shock CasiOak, as it's called. So the GA-2110 series was released last year, huge hit, and the particular model that I'm wearing and that I'm showing you guys right now is the GA-2110, which was just released about a week ago here in Japan. I haven't seen much of it for sale internationally, but I imagine eventually it's going to get out to you guys. Both of these lines should retail for about $100, and so that's why silver tier has to be under $120. Right now it's actually hard to find most of these under $120 because they're sold out, because they were so popular, but the retail price is $100 and eventually should get back down to there. And when it does, if you're interested in a digital watch, this is an analog digital, so it counts. We're going to throw those in as well. I think this is a great watch to pick up. I'm really enjoying mine. I got this yellow color that's just a really fun color, and it's just a really cool looking watch. The cool thing about this is not just the way it looks, but the thinness of it. So it's like less than 12 millimeters thin, so it wears incredibly comfortably. And I think because of that, a lot of people are really interested in it. That and the low introductory price to get it for $100. It's kind of a basic analog digital G-Shock. You are getting world time on this one. But other than that, all the standard G-Shock functions. There will be a full review of this watch coming out soon, so that you can kind of keep your eye out for that. Okay, before we go any further, I want to let you guys know what next month's category is going to be so that you can drop me a comment down below and help me build the list for next month. This is kind of a community thing, so I do rely on your guys' suggestions in building these lists each month, and definitely appreciate your help with that. So next month, we're going to be taking a look at minimalist watches. So let me know what your favorite minimalist watches are under $200. And yeah, we'll go through lists. Specifically, if you know of any at the $60 or $120 price point, let me know what those are so that they can be considered for our bronze or silver tier selection. But anything under $200 is eligible to be on the list. So if you know of any good minimalist watches, please drop me a comment down below right now and let me know what I should look at and consider including for next month's list. All right, so let's step away from Casio for a little bit here and start looking at some of the other brands that are putting out digital watches. And right after Casio, probably the first one that's going to come to mind for a lot of people is Timex. And so our third watch that we're going to be looking at today is the Timex Ironman Triathlon, specifically the Endure 30 model, which you can pick up on Amazon for about $43. It looks like they have it right now. This watch was actually recommended by one of my viewers, John Smith, so thanks for pointing me towards this particular one. I knew I wanted to get a Timex Ironman on here, didn't know which one, so thanks for helping me out, narrow it down a little bit. So the Timex Ironman and this line from Timex, it seems to have a pretty good following among athletes, and it has a lap timer on it, and it can count and store up to 30 laps in its memory on the watch. So it seems to be really useful for people who are running a lot and doing that sort of stuff. Also seems to be a lot of military personnel that like it as well. So it's known for being a pretty tough, rugged, and durable watch, and a really cool one to pick up in this $45 price range. This particular one also has ISO shock resist, so probably not as good as a G-Shock, but it does have some shock resistance and 200-meter water resistance and a ton of other features on it. Again, more tailored towards athletes. So if you're an athlete, this might be a good one to look at. Okay, let's take a look at one other Timex, because as I was looking through them, they had some really cool looking digital watches, and this one really stuck out to me. So this one's on the larger side. This is the Timex Command 47 millimeter. And again, this one is also kind of like Timex's version of a G-Shock. It's got shock resistance, it's got 200 meters of water resistance, so it's a very tough watch. You're obviously getting Indiglo backlight and some lap timers and a ton of other cool digital features. But to me, the thing that really struck me is just how cool this watch looks. I mean, Casio has this kind of cool, retro, pure Japanese charm to it that's very real. I feel like a lot of these Timexes, they look like, kind of like an American sci-fi prop or toy. This one looks like something straight out of Star Trek, and that's really endearing to me. I really like that, and I think that this one is just a cool looking digital watch, a really fun one to check out, and I thought I'd put that one on there. So you can pick this one up for about $60. All right, so for number 5 on our list, we're going to look at something a little bit out there. I found this on Joma Shop when I was searching around looking for them. This is a discontinued model from Citizen. It must be new old stock because it's been discontinued for a while, but they have it for $199. This is the Citizen AQUALAND Promaster Diver. And so this is an analog digital watch with a water sensor in there that automatically senses when you go into the water, and then it immediately starts recording your dive time. It records how long you've been underwater for, records how deep you've dove, so it has a depth meter on it. So it's really geared towards professional divers. And I thought that was really cool to see, something like this. So it's kind of got a little bit of a functions of like a dive computer built into it, I think. But it's also, a watch. It's an analog watch. One of the really cool things about it is the skeletonized hands. So the hands are skeletonized, so you can actually read the digital displays at the 12 and 6 o'clock without the hands getting in the way. So I thought that was a cool touch as well. And so kind of a cool retro watch, and for $200 to get an AQUALAND Promaster Diver. It's sort of a rare one, and Joma Shop is probably going to run out of stock eventually on these. So if you are interested in something like that, it's a good opportunity to pick one up. Okay, another brand that is known for their digital watches is PULSAR, and we're going to be looking next at the men's PQ 2003. So this is kind of your classic digital watch. Some of the cool features about this one is that it has a stainless steel case, which is rare. Most digital watches have resin cases or plastic cases to kind of help it be a little bit more rugged and lightweight. This is something that has a stainless steel, so it's a little bit different on there. And this one has like a full dot matrix display, so it gives you a lot of options on how you want to display the time. So I've heard that, reading the reviews, the contrast isn't the greatest, but you can get it to display the time in very large font. So, and this is a large watch as well. So if you are looking for something that's easy to read and you can get the time really big, this might be a good option for you. And then it's got just a ton of cool features. So PULSAR is Seiko's sub-brand. So this is there's not a lot of Seiko digital watches. I couldn't find any in this price range, but there are some from PULSAR, so you can check them out if you if you want to check out something from a Seiko subsidiary. All right, next up I wanted to look at something a little bit more on the fun side, and this is a fashion watch, but it's fine. So we're looking at the Nixon Base. I actually really like Nixon. They were one of the first watches that I kind of started looking at and getting into. I used to own a Nixon, and for fashion watches, I think they're a little bit more rugged than your typical ones. this one, very commonly, most of their watches have 100 meters of water resistance, this one included. So this is not like a lot of functionality for a digital watch. It also has a stainless steel case and a stainless steel band. It looks very cool, and the display has a really cool, again, dot matrix readout on it. I feel like this is Nixon's kind of idea of like trying to bring back a retro 80s looking watch in sort of a modern form factor. So it's like someone from the modern times imagined what a watch must have looked like back in the 80s and try to make it a little bit cooler. But I think it has a really cool look. Again, full stainless steel, cool digital readout, 100 meters of water resistance. On the pricey side, because Nixon is a brand, so this one will come at $100, but they do have a lot of different case finishes as well, so you can get in some like a gold or rose gold if you want to be a little bit more blingy than the steel version. But I think it's a cool looking watch, interesting one. I thought I'd put that one on there. Okay, so next up, let's start moving into some of the sort of hiking or camping or outdoors sort of watches. And we're going to look at the Suunto Core All Black, and that one you can pick up for around $114. So this is, one of those watches that has everything in it. It's got a thermometer, it's got an altimeter, it's got a barometer, a compass, all kinds of stuff in it. So this one, one of the interesting things about this one, a couple of interesting things about this one, but one of them is that it says it's rated for like 30 meters of water resistance. So when I read that, I was like, why would you want a rugged outdoor military style watch that only has 30 meters of water resistance? But I think that means it's actually like tested to be able to dive 30 meters deep with this, I think is what they're getting at, or at least 10 meters, because one of the features of this is that it has a depth meter for snorkeling that registers down to 10 meters deep. So it's at least assumed, the manufacturer assumes you're going to use this swimming down to 10 meters underwater in the ocean in actual usage conditions. Also, the buttons are supposed to be accessible underwater, which is really rare. Most digital watches, you can't use the buttons underwater. This one, they say that you can. Another cool thing about this one is that it has a rotating compass bezel on it. So you can get a compass readout, you can get the degrees readout, and then you can use the bezel to line it up and then actually be able to get some readings based on where you're facing. And that's kind of a fun, handy feature. And always having an actual functioning rotating bezel on a digital watch, I thought was kind of a cool thing as well. So overall, a lot of cool features on this one. It has a barometer in it with a storm warning. So if the barometer drops rapidly and it feels like there's a storm coming in, it'll start beeping and warn you. So a ton of cool stuff there. Pretty good price for it. So Suunto Core All Black Military Outdoors. Yeah, kind of legendary watch that a lot of people swear by. And that's going to move us back into Casio territory, because along those same lines, you can also take a look at the Casio ProTrek, specifically the PRG 330. And this is one that was recommended again by a viewer, by Levi Sigworth. So thank you, Levi, for pointing me in this one, because again, I'm not that up to speed on all these digital watches, so I really appreciate the recommendations on these ones. But the ProTrek seems similar to the Suunto that we just looked at. A lot of the same features: barometer, thermometer. This one, world time, sunset data, some other cool things as well. Compass built in. But this one by Casio. So yeah, another cool one. This one comes in $122, but similar features to the Suunto, but different look, different brand, but another one definitely to be aware of. All right, and we are finally getting to the end of our list, and we're going to wrap back around to, kind of your classic budget one. So we're going to look at the Casio AE1200 WHD, also known as the Casio Royale or the Casio World Time. This is, just an absolute classic. You can pick it up for like 25 bucks on US Amazon, so super cheap there. And yeah, you're getting a high degree of water resistance. I think this one has 100 meters of water resistance, backlight, world time, stopwatch, everything you could possibly need. And since we've got so many like great gym watches and great outdoor watches on there, I thought I'd put the one on the metal bracelet up here to give you something that's just a kind of a casual, everyday digital watch that you can pick up for really cheap, and definitely would recommend this one as well if you're looking for something kind of cheap in that range. All right, and that's going to wrap it up for this month's Watch of the Month. Thanks you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of the list. If I had any glaring omissions, let me know. I'm sure that there were a lot of them. Again, there were a ton of G-Shocks that I wanted to include, and maybe the two that I picked don't give you the best representation of everything that G-Shock has to offer, so I'm sure I'm going to get a couple of comments about that. but that's okay. I wanted to try and give a good, diverse list and, you know, at least point you guys in the area of which brands are out there. So if you're looking for a good digital watch in this price range, hopefully this will help you out. And again, let me know what your favorite minimalist watches are as we're looking forward to next month. We're getting close to wrapping up to a whole year of Watch of the Month. And so after we've completed a whole year, I've got some ideas for going into the next series. So Watch of the Month version 2 will be coming out in a couple more months. We should be hitting that. So yeah, I'm excited to announce what that will be, but I'll leave that a little bit of suspense there for there. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.